The serpent in the garden, defining and detecting evil's subtle intrusion. Evil. The very utterance of the word can send a shiver tracing its way down your spine, a primal response to something inherently unsettling and wrong. It's not a concept we can easily pin down with precise definitions, yet we intuitively recognize it, not always through visual confirmation, but through a visceral, undeniable feeling. The chilling truth about evil is that it rarely announces its presence with fanfare or overt displays of malevolence. Instead, it thrives in the shadows, hiding in plain sight, cloaked in disarming smiles, saccharine displays of false kindness, and meticulously crafted masks of normalcy. This isn't some caricature confined to the pages of fiction or the dark corners of history. Evil, in its most insidious form, can fester in the very spaces we trust the most: schools, places of worship, community centers, and even the homes of those we call friends, family, or colleagues. It's this quiet, insidious presence, this subtle erosion of trust and well-being, that renders it so profoundly dangerous. This ability of a person to feign morality is a powerful weapon. Their actions are usually seen as excusable because, on the surface, they seem virtuous. The concept of evil itself is highly subjective, and its definition can vary widely across cultures and individuals. It's often used to describe actions or intentions that are perceived as profoundly immoral, harmful, and malevolent. However, the subjective nature of morality means that what one person considers evil, another might see as necessary or even justifiable. This ambiguity can be exploited by malicious individuals who manipulate the perception of their actions to appear benign or even beneficial. This also serves to confuse their victims as they struggle to reconcile the dissonance between their actions and their perceived kindness. But what happens when you finally see through the mask, when you recognize the darkness lurking behind the carefully constructed facade? The chilling reality is that evil rarely retreats or admits defeat. Instead, it reacts, often in unpredictable and unsettling ways. It begins to reveal its true nature, not always through overt aggression or violent outbursts, but through calculated, manipulative moves designed to confuse, intimidate, and ultimately control. This control can be direct or indirect. Direct control involves restricting autonomy. Indirect control may include controlling your emotion through subtle manipulation. In this exploration, we're going to delve into the insidious tactics employed by such individuals, pulling back the curtain on these behaviors and exposing them to the light of awareness. Drawing upon the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy, we'll dissect 7 specific actions that evil people commonly undertake when they realize their true nature has been uncovered. This isn't merely about identifying these signs, it's about understanding their underlying motivations, staying calm in the face of manipulation, and standing firm in your own truth. Knowledge, in this context, is your greatest weapon, and by the end of this exploration, you'll be armed with everything you need to recognize, resist, and protect yourself against these insidious tactics. Let's dive in, then, and confront the darkness, not with fear or anger, but with unshakable clarity, unwavering courage, and the enduring wisdom of the Stoics. The unseen alarm, the significance of strange vibrations. Vibrations are not merely fleeting sensations or whimsical hunches, they are a deep-seated instinct, an invisible alarm bell ringing within the very core of your being. We exist within a sea of energy, where everything around us, including people, emits unique frequencies. When you encounter someone with malicious intent, their negative energy doesn't just affect your conscious mind, it permeates the space around you, subtly poisoning the atmosphere and leaving you with a pervasive sense of unease. This unease is your soul alerting you that something is wrong. The problem is many choose to ignore this warning sign. The vibration can often manifest as an intuition that someone is lying or being dishonest, even if you can't pinpoint concrete evidence to support your suspicion. People may also try to discount your suspicion by questioning it, thus leading you down a rabbit hole of doubt. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt a discomfort you couldn't quite explain, a sense of foreboding that seemed to linger in the air? That's not your imagination playing tricks on you, it's your subconscious mind picking up on subtle cues, recognizing the presence of negative energy and alerting you to potential danger. A person who doesn't trust their gut will usually dismiss these feelings, at their own peril. However, this intuitive sense is part of our natural instincts and should not be brushed aside. Toxic individuals are often masters of subtlety, adept at concealing their true intentions beneath a veneer of charm and charisma. However, when they realize that you've seen through their carefully constructed facade, their behavior subtly shifts in noticeable ways. Smiles that once seemed genuine now feel calculated, their warmth replaced by a chilling coldness. Questions that were once casual and friendly suddenly become invasive, probing, and designed to make you feel exposed and vulnerable. Every word, every gesture, every subtle shift in body language carries an unspoken message: I won't let you get away with this easily. All of this is meant to throw you off and make you question your own judgment. These vibrations aren't merely unsettling, they're a deliberate strategy, a form of subtle manipulation designed to regain control, to reassert their dominance over the situation, and to undermine your confidence in your own perceptions. It's meant to instill fear, too. I've experienced this insidious tactic firsthand in the workplace. A colleague I once trusted implicitly revealed their true nature: selfish, envious, and relentlessly scheming. When I recognized their true colors and began to distance myself, they didn't confront me outright or engage in overt aggression. Instead, they switched tactics, employing a more subtle and insidious approach. They started asking unnecessary questions, constantly monitoring my every move, scrutinizing my work with a hypercritical eye, and even spreading rumors behind my back in an attempt to tarnish my reputation and undermine my credibility. At first, their behavior kept me up at night, filling me with anxiety and stress, but eventually, I realized that the best way to counter their manipulation wasn't through retaliation or engagement but through unwavering calm and steadfast focus. I learned to ignore their negative vibrations, to block out their insidious energy, and to concentrate on my work, performing my duties with excellence and integrity. Strangely, as I stopped reacting to their manipulations, as I refused to be drawn into their drama, their influence began to fade, their tactics losing their effectiveness. Stoic philosophy offers a vital lesson for navigating moments like these. As Epictetus so eloquently stated, we are disturbed not by what happens to us, but by our judgments about what happens to us. The truth is, those strange vibrations, that negative energy, cannot harm you unless you allow them to penetrate your mind, to disrupt your inner peace, and to undermine your self-confidence. When facing manipulative behavior, the most important thing is to maintain your inner calm, to cultivate a sense of detachment, and to refuse to be swayed by external forces. Those unsettling vibrations, those insidious attempts at manipulation, are simply a test of your resilience, an opportunity to prove that your composure, your wisdom, and your inner strength are far more powerful than any malicious intent. To achieve inner calm, one must not engage with the toxic person, and focus instead on your work and inner values. So, have you ever felt this way? Has someone's presence ever made you inexplicably uneasy, without any readily apparent explanation? How did you handle it? Share your story in the comments below. By connecting with one another, by sharing our experiences and offering support, we can discover new and effective ways to preserve our inner peace, even when facing life's most challenging and manipulative situations. 2. The tangled web, the deception of lies to cover past lies. Lies, my friends, are not merely isolated instances of dishonesty, they are like a finely woven web, intricately constructed and increasingly difficult to escape, even for the one who weaves it. Each lie told doesn't simply cover the truth, it adds another thread to this tangled web, making everything more complex, more convoluted, and more prone to unraveling. Eventually, the lies will tangle, leading the person down a path of no return. When malicious individuals realize that their true nature has been exposed, that their carefully constructed facade has begun to crumble, they rarely choose to confront the truth with honesty and integrity. Instead, they instinctively resort to spinning more lies, creating new layers of deception in a desperate attempt to regain control, to salvage their reputation, and to maintain their carefully crafted illusion. Often, they don't even realize they are lying. Because their worldview is so perverted, they might think their lies are truthful. As Epictetus, the great Stoic philosopher, so aptly stated, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. This perfectly encapsulates the mindset of those who live by lies, those who deceive not only others but also imprison themselves in a self-constructed reality of falsehoods and distortions, blinding themselves to the light of truth and preventing themselves from experiencing genuine growth and understanding. In reality, we've all encountered lies at some point in our lives, and at times, we've even been less than truthful ourselves. Research suggests that the average person tells 1 to 2 lies per day, often minor untruths designed to avoid hurting someone's feelings, to smooth over social awkwardness, or to navigate complex social situations. The problem is that over time, these small lies snowball, leading to bigger problems down the road. However, malicious individuals don't lie to protect others' emotions or to maintain social harmony. They lie to protect themselves, to cover up their wrongdoings, to safeguard their personal interests, and to manipulate others into serving their agendas. When one lie is discovered, instead of admitting their mistake and taking responsibility for their actions, they instinctively continue to deny, to deflect, and to fabricate new stories to justify their initial deceit. This leads to an endless cycle of deception, where each new lie entangles them further in a web of betrayal, eroding their own sense of integrity and isolating them from genuine human connection. Such individuals don't just break trust with others, they betray themselves, sacrificing their own sense of value and moral compass in pursuit of self-preservation and personal gain. Deep down, they know that with every lie they tell, they drift further from the truth, deeper into a pit of dishonesty, and further away from the possibility of genuine redemption. Deceit, therefore, doesn't just destroy relationships, it erodes their own sense of self-worth, leaving them trapped in a cycle of guilt, shame, and self-loathing. Lying and manipulation can become addictive behaviors, as the individual experiences a sense of power and control from deceiving others. The need to maintain the facade of lies can lead to chronic stress and anxiety. People may struggle to keep track of their lies, leading to inconsistencies and increased risk of exposure. The constant deception can erode a person's sense of identity, leading to a feeling of being disconnected from their true selves. Lies can also lead to a sense of isolation and loneliness as people become wary of forming close relationships due to their fear of being discovered. I once had a close friend, someone I trusted completely, who came to me with a story of financial hardship, claiming that he was struggling to make ends meet and asked for a short-term loan to help him get through a tough time. Trusting him implicitly, I didn't hesitate to lend him the money, believing that I was helping a friend in need. However, I later discovered that he hadn't used the funds as he had claimed. Instead, he had spent it on extravagant indulgences, lavishing himself with luxuries while I remained under the impression that he was struggling to survive. When I confronted him with my discovery, he didn't admit his deception or offer an apology. Instead, he vehemently denied everything, fabricating another elaborate story to cover his actions, blaming circumstances, other people, and even trying to make me feel guilty for doubting his honesty. This experience made me realize that for such individuals, trust is not something they value, something they are willing to protect and nurture. Instead, it's merely a tool to be manipulated, a vulnerability to be exploited, and a bond to be broken whenever it serves their objectives. Deep down, they know that each lie drives them further from the truth, but they persist because to them, truth is not something to be faced with courage and integrity but something to be concealed at all costs. Lying also prevents them from experiencing true emotional intimacy, as they are always guarded and unable to form genuine connections. The constant fear of exposure can lead to difficulty trusting others, perpetuating a cycle of isolation. When dealing with such people, the most important thing is to maintain your composure, your clarity, and your unwavering commitment to the truth. As Stoic philosophy teaches, it's not external events that disturb us but our interpretation of them. Don't let lies disrupt your peace of mind, don't allow deception to undermine your confidence, and don't let the tangled web of falsehoods obscure your vision. The truth is always more powerful than any web of deceit, and by remaining steadfast in your commitment to honesty and integrity, you can navigate even the most challenging and manipulative situations with grace and resilience. The focus should always be on the truth, even when facing adversity. 3. The fleeting friend, recognizing the opportunistic nature of here today, gone tomorrow relationships. Have you ever felt like you were just a pit stop in someone else's journey, a temporary resource to be exploited and then discarded without a second thought? They show up when they need you the most, showering you with sweet words, feigning sincere gestures, and making you feel like a valued friend or ally. But the moment they get what they want, the moment their needs are met, they vanish without hesitation, leaving you questioning whether your kindness has been taken advantage of, whether your generosity has been exploited, and whether the entire relationship was nothing more than a carefully orchestrated charade. People like this never genuinely care about you, your well-being, or your personal growth. They care only about what they can extract from the relationship, what resources they can acquire, what favors they can demand, and what advantages they can gain. And when they realize that you've seen through their facade, that you're no longer willing to be a source of exploitation, their actions become even more calculated, even more deliberate, and even more transparently self-serving. At first, they may make you believe that they are trustworthy companions, always there when you need them, always ready to offer support, and always willing to lend a helping hand. But once you begin to see their darker side, once you recognize their self-centered motivations, it becomes evident that they only show up when they have something to gain, when their own needs are at stake, and when your resources can be exploited to their advantage. And when you're the one in need, when you're the one seeking support or assistance, they are nowhere to be found, conveniently absent, mysteriously unavailable, and conspicuously disengaged. These individuals are like opportunists, always calculating their moves, always assessing the potential for personal gain, and always prioritizing their own self-interest above all else. When there's nothing left to gain, when your resources have been depleted, when your usefulness has expired, they withdraw, leaving you feeling betrayed, hurt, and emotionally drained. What's even more disheartening is when things settle down, when the crisis has passed, when their needs have been met, they return, often with insincere apologies, perfectly crafted excuses, and carefully rehearsed explanations, hoping to make you believe that their absence was circumstantial rather than intentional, that their neglect was unintentional rather than deliberate, and that their return is motivated by genuine remorse rather than a renewed opportunity for exploitation. They are likely to use guilt-tripping as well, which makes you feel even more manipulated. They count on your forgiving nature, your empathetic spirit, and your willingness to give them the benefit of the doubt to allow them back into your life, to grant them another chance to exploit your kindness and to perpetuate the cycle of manipulation. But remember, their return isn't about valuing you, your friendship, or your well-being. It's about seizing another opportunity to exploit your kindness, to drain your resources, and to use you to achieve their own selfish goals. This is why they will never change and why you shouldn't allow them to. I once worked with a colleague who seemed genuinely supportive of me in our projects, consistently offering valuable advice, readily volunteering his time, and never hesitating to put in extra hours to ensure our collective success. He seemed like a reliable ally, a trusted confidant, and a valued member of the team. But then, one day, I faced a major crisis at work, a situation that threatened the success of our project and jeopardized my professional reputation. I desperately needed someone to stand by me, to offer support, and to help me navigate the challenges ahead. But to my dismay, he was completely silent, offering no support, no words of encouragement, and no gestures of concern. He simply stood at a distance, avoiding the trouble entirely, refusing to put himself at risk, and prioritizing his own self-preservation above all else. After I managed to resolve the issue on my own, putting in countless hours, sacrificing my personal time, and enduring immense stress, he reappeared, as if by magic, with a string of hollow excuses, claiming that he was too busy to help, that he didn't want to add to my stress, or that he simply didn't know how to offer assistance. That's when I realized that he wasn't a true ally, a genuine friend, or a reliable colleague. He was only there when it benefited him, when his own interests were at stake, and when my success could enhance his own reputation. Stoic philosophy teaches us that in such situations, there's no need for anger, resentment, or bitterness. Instead, we should focus on accepting the situation, learning from the experience, and moving forward with wisdom and discernment. As Marcus Aurelius so wisely stated, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. While we can't control the behavior of others, we can control how we respond to them, and we can choose to cultivate inner strength, resilience, and self-reliance, allowing us to navigate even the most challenging situations with grace and integrity. In the end, the absence of people like this isn't a loss, it's an opportunity to free yourself from unhealthy relationships, to focus on building genuine, meaningful connections, and to cultivate a sense of self-sufficiency that empowers you to thrive regardless of external circumstances. Remember, kindness is not weakness, it's a strength, but only when you know how to set boundaries, how to protect your own well-being, and how to discern between those who genuinely value you and those who seek only to exploit you. Those who truly value you won't exploit your kindness, they'll stand by you even in the toughest of times, they'll offer support without expecting anything in return, and they'll celebrate your successes as if they were their own. So, what about you? Have you ever experienced something like this? Share your story with us in the comments below. Together, we can learn how to protect our inner peace, how to build relationships that truly matter, and how to cultivate lives that are rich in genuine connection and unwavering self-respect. 4. The subtle sabotage, recognizing attempts to diminish your worth and make you feel stupid. Have you ever opened up to someone about your pain, your struggles, or your vulnerabilities, only to be met with responses that subtly undermine your confidence, invalidate your feelings, and make you feel as though you are somehow inherently flawed? Responses like, "Why didn't you see that coming?" or "Why would you even do that?" may seem harmless on the surface, but they carry an invisible weight, a psychological sting that leaves you feeling small, ashamed, and even inclined to blame yourself for not being good enough, smart enough, or capable enough. This isn't the empathy you were hoping for, the support you were seeking, or the understanding you deserved, it's a veiled psychological blow, a carefully calibrated attempt to diminish your worth and assert control over your emotions. In that moment, they've achieved their goal, making you feel weak, isolated, and easier to manipulate. The isolation may also make you feel more attached to them, due to their constant presence, and it's a common tactic in abusive relationships. Toxic people often use this tactic to maintain control over others, to keep them dependent, and to prevent them from challenging their authority. They want you to doubt yourself, to question your abilities, and to undermine your self-confidence, and when you fall into that trap, you become more vulnerable to their influence, more susceptible to their manipulations, and less likely to resist their control. Manipulators also tend to want their victims to see themselves as inferior to them. This enhances their superiority and strengthens their ego. What's frightening is that they do this not to build a genuine connection, to foster mutual growth, or to offer sincere support, they do it to keep you within their orbit of control, where they can continue their manipulation unchallenged, where they can maintain their dominance over your emotions, and where they can ensure your continued dependence on their approval. Instead of being true companions, offering genuine support and fostering mutual growth, they become masters of control, hiding their true nature behind sharp words, dismissive actions, and insidious suggestions, all disguised as concern, care, or even love. These are also the signs of a gaslighter. Stoic philosophy offers a clear perspective on this situation, providing guidance for navigating these manipulative tactics and reclaiming your inner strength. As Marcus Aurelius so wisely stated, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Insults, mockery, or attempts to make you feel foolish can only affect you if you allow them to penetrate your mind, to disrupt your inner peace, and to undermine your self-confidence. A Stoic would not react with anger, resentment, or sorrow, they would step back, observe the situation as an outsider, and remind themselves that true value doesn't come from others' words or opinions but from inner tranquility, self-respect, and unwavering commitment to virtue. I recall a story from my own life. During a journey abroad, I met a new friend, a fellow traveler who initially seemed incredibly caring, supportive, and always ready to lend a helping hand. But over time, I noticed a pattern in their behavior, a subtle but consistent effort to diminish my worth and undermine my confidence. Every time I shared a decision I had made, an idea I had conceived, or a goal I was pursuing, they would make remarks that left me feeling inadequate, questioning my judgment, and doubting my abilities. Comments like, "Why didn't you think further ahead?" or, "That's so obvious, I can't believe you didn't realize that sooner," kept surfacing, subtly eroding my self-confidence and making me feel as though I was constantly falling short of their expectations. Over time, I realized that this person wasn't a true friend. They weren't interested in helping me grow, supporting my dreams, or celebrating my successes. They just wanted to control how I felt about myself, to diminish my worth, and to keep me dependent on their approval. Stoic philosophy taught me how to navigate these situations, how to protect my inner peace, and how to reclaim my power. Instead of letting their words hurt me, instead of internalizing their negativity, I learned to keep my mind steady, to maintain a sense of detachment, and not to let emotions take over. I realized that my reaction was the one thing I could control, and I chose to react with indifference, with self-assurance, and with unwavering confidence in my own abilities. From then on, I stopped being affected by their negative remarks. I no longer felt the need to seek validation from someone who was trying to diminish me, and I reclaimed my inner strength. Remember, your worth doesn't lie in what others say about you but in how you confront the challenges life throws your way, how you cultivate inner peace, and how you remain steadfast in your commitment to your own values. Toxic people can only make you feel small if you let them. Stand firm in your inner strength, focus on what you can control, and never let anyone steal your confidence, your peace of mind, or your unwavering belief in your own worth. This does not have to involve severing ties with the person. It may just mean mentally pushing back against their gaslighting tactics. The chameleon's change, the deceptive tactic of crafting a new reputation to manipulate perception. Have you ever looked at someone and felt a deep-seated unease, a sense that they might truly embody deceit and cruelty, despite their outward appearance of normalcy or even kindness? If your answer is yes, you're not alone. Evil in people doesn't always reveal itself through overt actions or malicious words. On the contrary, it often hides under a perfect guise of charm, charisma, and even apparent virtue, convincing you that they're just ordinary people, perhaps even exceptionally good ones. But the most frightening thing isn't how they conceal their true nature, it's how they manipulate your perception, making you doubt yourself, your instincts, and the truths you've uncovered. Evil individuals aren't just bad people, they are masters of disguise, skilled in psychological games, adept at manipulating emotions, and experts at crafting false narratives that you may not even realize you're being drawn into. When they discover that you've seen through them, that you've recognized their true nature, they won't confront the truth with honesty or integrity. Instead, they act quickly, often strategically, to change how you perceive them, to undermine your judgment, and to regain control of the situation. This is also a form of deflection, to stop you from discovering the truth. It's not an honest apology, a sincere admission of wrongdoing, or a genuine attempt at reconciliation. It's a new narrative, carefully crafted with intricate details, emotional undertones, and calculated appeals to your sense of compassion, all designed to make you think that you've misunderstood them, that you've misinterpreted their actions, or that you've been too quick to judge them unfairly. They want you to give them the benefit of the doubt, to believe in their innocence, and to offer them another chance to prove themselves. This can also lead to you further justifying their actions in your mind. Imagine having a colleague infamous for being deceitful, untrustworthy, and manipulative. One day, you confront them, presenting them with irrefutable evidence of their wrongdoing. But rather than admitting their actions, taking responsibility for their choices, or expressing remorse for the harm they've caused, they tell you an emotional story about their troubled past, their difficult childhood, or the series of unfortunate circumstances that have supposedly shaped their behavior. The story sounds so convincing, so heartfelt, and so filled with genuine emotion that you begin to question yourself, wondering if you've been too harsh, too judgmental, or too quick to condemn. But this, my friends, is their strategy, their carefully calculated tactic for regaining control and manipulating your perception. They are using their fabricated history, their carefully crafted narrative, to create confusion, to evoke sympathy, and to make you doubt your own judgment. It's a form of gaslighting, designed to undermine your sense of reality and to make you question your own sanity. It also works to elicit your trust, making you feel as though they need your understanding. I've been through this myself. Someone I trusted completely, someone I considered a close friend, turned out to be manipulative, deceitful, and utterly untrustworthy. When I uncovered the truth, when I recognized their true nature, instead of admitting their wrongs, offering an apology, or attempting to make amends, they spun an elaborate tale, filled with half-truths, exaggerations, and carefully crafted lies, all designed to change my perception of them, to make me doubt my own judgment, and to regain control of the situation. For a long time, I was trapped in self-doubt, wondering if I was being too harsh, too judgmental, or if I had somehow misinterpreted their actions. I questioned my own instincts, doubted my own sanity, and struggled to reconcile the person I thought I knew with the manipulative individual they had revealed themselves to be. But eventually, I realized that every explanation, every story, every carefully crafted tear was just a smokescreen, a diversion designed to obscure the truth, to protect their reputation, and to maintain their control. This made it difficult for me to trust anyone afterwards. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Evil people understand this all too well. If they can manipulate your thoughts, if they can control your perception, they can control your actions. But Stoic philosophy teaches us an essential lesson: keep a clear mind, cultivate inner strength, and don't let fleeting emotions or fabricated stories cloud your judgment. This also protects you from being deceived. When someone goes out of their way to rebuild their reputation after being caught in a lie, engaging in unethical behavior, or betraying your trust, remember that it's rarely genuine remorse, authentic contrition, or a sincere desire for change. It's another tactic, a carefully calculated strategy to maintain control, to manipulate your perception, and to regain your confidence. Evil doesn't just change its outward appearance, it leaves behind an unsettling feeling, a vague sense of discomfort that you can't quite explain, a lingering doubt that something is not quite right. When you feel this, trust your instincts, pay attention to the signals your heart is sending you, because they might be your most valuable warning, your most reliable guide in navigating treacherous situations. Don't be deceived by carefully crafted narratives, meticulously hidden facades, or expertly manipulated emotions. Stay vigilant, question everything, and protect the truth within your mind. And don't forget to set up firm boundaries. 6. The Master of Innocence, disarming accusations by feigning ignorance and casting themselves as the victim. Have you ever wondered how to recognize someone who's intentionally hiding their true nature, someone who's deliberately concealing their malicious intentions behind a facade of innocence? This isn't just an intriguing question or an intellectual exercise, it's a survival skill, an essential tool for navigating the complexities and dangers of the modern world. There's a lot of predators around us looking to take advantage, and being aware is a safety mechanism. When exposed, toxic individuals rarely confront the truth with dignity, honesty, or remorse. Instead, they deploy their most cunning strategy, their most deceptive tactic, feigning innocence, pretending not to know what they've done, or even casting themselves as the victim, claiming that they've been wronged, misunderstood, or unfairly accused. They aim to deceive you into believing that they had no awareness of the harm they've caused, no intention of hurting you, and no responsibility for the consequences of their actions. This technique also helps to flip the script, to put you on the defensive, and to make you question your own judgment. This behavior isn't just a denial of responsibility, it's a form of malicious psychological manipulation, a calculated attempt to evade accountability, to deflect blame, and to maintain control over the situation. Their goal is to make you unsure of yourself. For example, you might express your pain, your hurt, or your disappointment, hoping for an apology, an admission of wrongdoing, or a gesture of remorse. But instead, they respond with a sarcastic question, a dismissive comment, or a veiled accusation, turning the tables on you and shifting the focus away from their own actions. The comments may sound something like, "Why didn't you tell me sooner? Why are you being so sensitive?" Or, "You're overreacting, I didn't mean anything by it." This not only invalidates your feelings, dismissing your pain as trivial or unwarranted, but also shifts the blame onto you, making you feel guilty for expressing your emotions, for holding them accountable, or for challenging their authority. They want to flip the script in order to manipulate your emotions. It's not merely clever or witty, it's a calculated move, a strategic maneuver designed to make you feel guilty, as though you were the one in the wrong, as though you were the one who caused the problem, and as though you were the one who needs to apologize. The victim then becomes the perpetrator, and the true perpetrator evades accountability, manipulates your emotions, and maintains their position of power. The goal is to completely invalidate your feelings so that you don't trust your gut. I experienced something similar during my time living in a new place, far from my family, my friends, and my familiar support system. I had a friend, someone I initially thought was trustworthy, kind, and genuinely interested in my well-being. But over time, I realized that they were exploiting my kindness, taking advantage of my generosity, and manipulating my emotions for their own personal gain. When I finally recognized their behavior, when I confronted them with my observations, they feigned complete ignorance, pretending to be utterly oblivious to the harm they had caused. "Oh, I didn't realize you felt that way," they said, their tone dripping with insincerity. "Why didn't you say something earlier? I had no idea I was hurting you." Their tone was both innocent and dismissive, and it created further damage. In that moment, I felt not only hurt and betrayed but also as though my understanding of reality was being twisted, as though my perception of events was being questioned, and as though I was somehow responsible for their actions. They made me question whether I was being overly sensitive, whether I was misinterpreting their intentions, or whether I was simply imagining the whole thing. But after some reflection, after some soul-searching, and after drawing upon the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, I realized that this was their way of controlling me, of manipulating me, and of evading accountability for their actions. And, ultimately, it was another sign that the friendship was never genuine. Stoic philosophy teaches us that how we react to such situations is what truly matters, that our inner response is the only thing we can control, and that our peace of mind should never be dependent on the actions or opinions of others. As Epictetus once said, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. Toxic individuals may try to distort the truth, to manipulate our emotions, and to undermine our self-confidence, but they cannot control our thoughts, our feelings, or our choices. We have every right to stand firm in our truth, to assert our boundaries, and to protect our own well-being, regardless of their attempts to deceive, manipulate, or invalidate us. Also, it's important not to let these feelings fester. It's important to feel them, then work your way past them. You have every right to stand firm in your truth and your values. Don't let their deceit shake you, don't let their manipulation sway you, and don't let their attempts to invalidate your emotions undermine your self-confidence. These individuals will always seek to avoid consequences, to evade accountability, and to cast themselves as innocent victims in order to confuse you, to manipulate you, and to make you doubt yourself. But the key is to remain steadfast, to hold firm to your truth, and not to let them erode your confidence, your self-respect, or your unwavering belief in your own worth. Stoicism reminds us that true strength lies in self-control, in resilience, and in the unwavering pursuit of virtue. By protecting the truth, by resisting emotional manipulation, and by cultivating inner peace, you can overcome the challenges they impose, reclaim your power, and live a life that is guided by wisdom, integrity, and unwavering self-respect. Remember, the truth is always the guiding light that will lead you through even the darkest times, providing clarity, direction, and unwavering hope. 7. The puppeteer's strings, detecting and defying the destructive nature of manipulation. Manipulation is like a silent yet destructive storm, subtly shaking your confidence, eroding your self-worth, and gradually stripping away your control over your own life. Manipulators don't always appear overtly aggressive, confrontational, or malicious. On the contrary, they often hide behind a perfect facade of kindness, concern, or even love, using subtle tactics to take control of your emotions, your decisions, and your very existence. However, their actions are almost always for their benefit. But don't be fooled by appearances. Their seemingly benign behavior is often a carefully crafted charade, designed to lull you into a false sense of security, to lower your defenses, and to make you more susceptible to their manipulations. They use subtle tactics to take control of your emotions, leaving you feeling isolated, doubtful of yourself, and eventually dependent on them for validation, approval, and guidance. There may also be a love-bombing technique. They may shower you with attention initially, only to pull away later, to test your attachment. Imagine someone close to you constantly expressing concern and care in every situation. They check in on you frequently, offer unsolicited advice, and insist that they only want what's best for you, making you feel as though you are fortunate to have them in your life. But beneath their seemingly well-intentioned words lies a darker motive, a calculated attempt to control your decisions, to manipulate your emotions, and to keep you dependent on their approval. Their advice isn't meant to help you grow, to empower you to make your own choices, or to encourage you to pursue your own dreams. It's meant to make you doubt yourself, to question your abilities, and to rely on their guidance instead. To ensure a strong emotional reliance. A woman once shared with me a story about her mother. Every time she wanted to start a new relationship, to pursue a new career opportunity, or to embark on a new adventure, her mother would gently say, with a tone of genuine concern, "Are you sure they won't hurt you? Think about all the mistakes you've made before. Are you going to take on this responsibility? It's so risky to start a new relationship." These seemingly caring words, delivered with such sincerity and concern, instilled fear in her, eroded her confidence, and ultimately made her abandon promising opportunities, to sabotage relationships, and to stifle her own personal growth. The mother was jealous of the daughter and did not want the daughter to achieve things that she did not. Manipulators like this are masters at wielding emotional intelligence to control you, expertly identifying your vulnerabilities, exploiting your weaknesses, and subtly playing on your insecurities. They don't just identify your vulnerabilities, they weaponize them, using them against you to make you feel powerless, small, and ultimately reliant on them for validation, support, and guidance. This often goes undetected, even though the manipulator is causing severe damage. They may even disguise their manipulative actions as acts of kindness, convincing you that they are the only person you can trust, the only one who truly understands you, and the only one who can protect you from the dangers of the world. But in reality, they're slowly taking control of your life, one calculated step at a time, subtly eroding your autonomy, undermining your self-confidence, and turning you into a puppet dancing to the tune of their desires. It becomes even harder to notice their manipulative behavior because their actions have been framed as kind. In Stoic philosophy, true happiness doesn't come from seeking validation from others, from relying on external sources of approval, or from depending on the opinions of others. It comes from mastering your own mind, from cultivating inner peace, and from living in accordance with virtue, regardless of external circumstances. Allowing someone to manipulate you means surrendering your freedom, relinquishing your autonomy, and becoming a puppet in their hands, forfeiting your ability to make your own choices, to pursue your own dreams, and to live a life that is guided by your own values. This is something a Stoic would never tolerate, as personal freedom, self-reliance, and unwavering commitment to virtue are core, non-negotiable values. As Epictetus said, the chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control. One common tactic of manipulators is making you feel incapable, convincing you that you can't handle anything on your own, that you're not strong enough, smart enough, or resilient enough to navigate life's challenges without their constant assistance. They make you believe that without them, your life will spiral into chaos, that you'll be lost, confused, and utterly unable to cope with the demands of the world. This tactic is meant to keep you from becoming self-sufficient. A man once shared how his wife would constantly tell him, "You can't take care of the kids by yourself, you're not capable of handling that responsibility. What do you know besides earning money? You have no idea how to run a household or raise children." Hearing these words day after day, he began to lose faith in his abilities, to doubt his own competence, and to question his own worth as a father and a partner, to the point where he wouldn't make any decisions, big or small, without her approval, surrendering his autonomy and becoming utterly dependent on her guidance. This control becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it also affects the children as well, who perceive the father as inferior. Breaking free from manipulation requires setting firm boundaries, clearly defining your limits, and defending them at all costs. When you say no, stand by it, don't waver, don't apologize, and don't allow anyone to guilt you into changing your mind. When you set limits, don't let anyone bend them, don't allow anyone to pressure you into exceeding your capacity, and don't let anyone guilt you into sacrificing your own well-being for their sake. Setting boundaries requires practice, and a lot of work is required, as manipulators will test your boundaries repeatedly to see if they can break you. Stoic philosophy reminds us that while we can't control other people's actions, we always have control over how we respond to them, and that is your true power, your greatest source of strength, and your unwavering ability to choose your own path. No one can take it from you unless you allow it, unless you surrender your autonomy, and unless you relinquish control over your own mind. Always seek advice, but make your own decisions. Remember, manipulation only works if you let it, if you allow someone else to dictate your emotions, to undermine your self-confidence, and to control your choices. A self-reliant and resolute mind, a mind that is grounded in virtue, committed to truth, and dedicated to inner peace, is never swayed by someone else's psychological games, never manipulated by someone else's deceptive tactics, and never controlled by someone else's selfish desires. This is your moment to stand up, to reclaim control over your life, and to refuse to play their game any longer. Don't let the pain turn you into a puppet, let it become the strength you need to break free, to reclaim your autonomy, and to live a life that is guided by your own values and principles. Fortifying the mind, protecting the soul, a Stoic's guide to navigating and neutralizing evil's influence. So, we've uncovered the 7 distinct behaviors that toxic individuals exhibit when they realize you've seen through their true nature, exposing the manipulative tactics they employ to evade accountability, regain control, and undermine your sense of self-worth. These signs not only help you understand the hidden intentions behind their carefully crafted facade but also empower you to protect yourself from their harmful influence, to reclaim your power, and to live a life that is guided by wisdom, integrity, and unwavering self-respect. These tactics become less effective when you have awareness. Stoic philosophy reminds us that true strength lies in maintaining inner calm, in cultivating self-control, and in remaining steadfast in our commitment to virtue. No one can truly harm you if you know how to safeguard your mind, how to protect your emotions, and how to cultivate an unwavering sense of self-worth that is independent of external validation. Ultimately, you have control over yourself. Remember this: toxic people will always try to manipulate you, to control you, and to undermine your confidence. But your real power lies in not letting them disrupt your inner peace, in refusing to allow them to dictate your emotions, and in maintaining an unwavering commitment to your own values and principles. Each time you refuse to let them dictate your emotions, each time you resist their manipulative tactics, and each time you assert your boundaries, you not only shield your serenity but also reinforce your self-respect and autonomy, strengthening your resilience, and solidifying your commitment to living a life that is guided by wisdom, integrity, and unwavering self-worth. Let the lessons from this exploration become a part of your mental armor, equipping you to face life's challenges with clarity, courage, and unwavering self-assurance. Prioritize your well-being. You can also use these situations as a lesson in how to grow, how to become more perceptive, and how to be more empathetic to those around you. Before we wrap up, let me ask you this: what did today's content awaken in you? Do you feel more equipped to identify and confront the toxic individuals around you? Do you have a clearer understanding of their manipulative tactics, and do you feel more confident in your ability to protect yourself from their harmful influence? If this exploration brought value to your life, if it provided you with insights, inspiration, or a renewed sense of empowerment, please like and share it to spread these vital lessons to others who may need them. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so we can continue this journey of fostering inner peace, cultivating self-mastery, and building lives that are guided by wisdom, integrity, and unwavering self-respect together. The goal is to build a community that grows together. Lastly, Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you encountered these signs in your own life? How did you overcome them? What strategies did you find most effective in protecting yourself from manipulation and reclaiming your inner peace? Your story could be a powerful source of inspiration for others, a beacon of hope for those who are struggling to navigate similar challenges. Until next time, stay strong, resolute, and always protect the peace within your soul, cultivating a life that is guided by wisdom, integrity, and unwavering self-respect. The peace within your soul is most valuable.